So we've all heard of crystal meth, or ice, right? We know it's an incredibly destructive drug, and we've seen the devastating human cost. But it turns out that's only part of the story. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the toxic legacy it leaves behind long after the drug itself is gone.
Right, the immediate damage to a person's health, that's been well documented. But what about the danger you can't see? The kind that can just linger for years, silently affecting completely innocent people? Well, that's the hidden danger we're diving into today.
All right, so to really understand the aftermath, we've got to start with the substance itself. Let's get back to basics. What exactly is crystal meth?
Okay, so crystal methamphetamine, or ice as it's commonly known, is a super powerful stimulant. But here's the key thing. It's not just another drug. It is the strongest and most addictive form of methamphetamine out there. And that potency means its impact is both incredibly fast and unbelievably intense.
Now, you might have heard the term speed thrown around, maybe even used to mean the same thing as ice. But hold on, they are not the same thing at all. Speed comes in a powder form, and it's less potent. Ice, on the other hand, has that distinct crystal-like look, and it is the most powerful version, delivering a high that's felt almost instantly.
So, what does this incredibly powerful drug actually do to a person's body? Let's walk through the whole cycle, from that first euphoric high to the absolutely devastating long-term damage.
At first, you can kind of see the appeal. Users get this massive rush of pleasure, they feel super confident, like they have limitless energy, but while all that is happening, their body is paying a really steep price. We're talking a racing heart, rapid breathing, all the physical signs of being under extreme stress.
And of course, what goes up must come down. The crash after that high is just brutal. And it's not just about feeling tired. It can be a multi-day ordeal of complete exhaustion, intense paranoia, and serious agitation. This awful low is often what fuels the cycle of using again and again just to escape those feelings.
Over time, the damage becomes catastrophic. We see severe physical decay, everything from total dental collapse to heart and kidney failure. And mentally, the drug can actually trigger something called ice psychosis, which is terrifying. It's marked by extreme paranoia, hallucinations, and sometimes even violent behavior. This is that tragic human cost we see in the headlines.
But here's where the story takes a turn. The destruction doesn't just stop with the user's body. There's another victim here, one that's usually invisible. We're talking about the toxic legacy of how it's made.
So the person might be gone, the lab equipment might be cleared out, but the danger is still there. So where on earth is it hiding?
It's hiding in plain sight, in houses, apartments, motel rooms. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, put it plainly, meth labs generate significant environmental hazards. They basically turn the places people are supposed to live into toxic sites.
Think of it like this. It's like a toxic ghost. The chemicals used to cook meth don't just magically vanish. Nope, they go airborne and they settle on every single surface. They soak into drywall, seep into carpets, and get sucked into ventilation systems, leaving this invisible chemical film over everything.
To give you an idea of how serious this is, California has a health-based cleanup standard. It's 1.5 micrograms per 100 square centimeters. I mean, that is a microscopic, almost unimaginable amount. And yet, if the contamination goes over that tiny threshold, the home is considered unsafe to live in.
So how do you even begin to fight an invisible enemy like that? Well, cleaning a former meth lab isn't just about grabbing some soap and water. It's a highly specialized, really painstaking scientific process called remediation.
And this process is incredibly methodical. First up, they secure the site and air it out to get rid of any dangerous compounds floating around. Then, anything porous that could have absorbed those chemicals, we're talking furniture, carpets, curtains, it all has to be carefully removed and disposed of. After that, the deep clean begins, vacuuming everything with special HEPA filters to catch tiny particles, then a meticulous detergent wash of every single hard surface. And the final, and maybe most crucial step, is testing. They take samples to make absolutely sure the contamination is below those strict safety limits before the property can ever be certified as safe again.
And let me be super clear about this. This is absolutely not a do-it-yourself job. It requires professionals in full hazmat gear to handle these toxic materials safely. It's a dangerous, demanding job that takes a ton of training, all to protect the workers and, of course, anyone who might live there in the future.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you realize this is so much more than a crime or an environmental problem. At its core, it's a community health issue, and it demands a really supportive and informed response from all of us. And a huge part of that response starts with the words we use. The organization Cracks in the Ice makes a fantastic point. Stigmatizing language is a massive barrier. When we use labels like addict, it can just reinforce shame and actually stop people from reaching out for the help they so desperately need.
And that help is available. For anyone who's struggling or for families who are worried about a loved one, there are free and confidential resources out there. You can call the National Alcohol and Other Drug Hotline for support at 1-800-250-015. I'll say that again, it's 1-800-250-015.
So, that leaves us with one final big question to think about. The damage from crystal meth goes deep, right? It affects people and the very places they live. So, knowing about this hidden aftermath, how can we as a community do better? How can we support every single part of the recovery process, for individuals, for their families, and for our environment?